Hi everyone, it's Gillian and welcome to my channel and another crochet tutorial. For today's tutorial, we're making the wind spinner. And I made a wind spinner with just one color. And for this one, I use a variegated yarn. And for this one, I switched the colors and I also added some beading detail at the end. Let's get started. To begin round one, you're going to start by placing a slip knot on your hook. You're going to chain 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 98, 99, 100. And when I measure this, I get 18 inches. So for 100 chains with a 3.5 millimeter hook, I get 18 inches. So let's continue. To continue, you're going to skip the first chain or the first stitch and into the second chain from the hook, you're going to make a single crochet. And you're going to make a single crochet into the next stitch. And this is going to be a stitch repeat. You're going to make one single crochet into each stitch until you get to the end of the row. So continue making single crochets and I will meet you at the end of the row. I'm not going to complete this last stitch. I'm going to switch colors here, but if you continue with one color, then you can just continue with the pattern. And I'm going to cut my yarn here, and I'm going to add my second color. I'm going to pull that through to complete the stitch. And I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to turn my work. And that chain one doesn't count as a stitch. Working into the first stitch, you're going to make a half double crochet. You're going to chain one and make another half double crochet into the same stitch. And this is going to be a stitch repeat in every stitch. Into the next stitch, make a half double crochet, chain one, and another half double crochet into the same stitch. And repeat. Half double crochet into the next stitch, chain one, and another half double crochet. And just repeat. Continue with this sequence of stitches and I will meet you at the end of the row. In the last chain, you're going to make a half double crochet. And you're going to chain one and you're going to make a half double crochet into that last stitch. But you're not going to complete your half double crochet. If you're still keeping with the same color, then you'll just continue the pattern. But I'm going to switch colors here. And then I'm going to cut this mustard color. And as you can see with the second round, it's already starting to curl up. That looks really pretty. So now we're going to chain two and we're going to turn our work, and that chain two doesn't count as a stitch. So for round 3, for row 3, we're going to make 3 double crochets into each of the chain 1 space. So you're going to find the first chain 1 space, which is like right here, just right after the last half double crochet, and into that space you're going to make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to repeat. You're going to find the next chain 1 space. So in between each chain 1 space there's going to be 2 half double crochets, so right there, and then the next chain 1 space, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to repeat. So just remember, in between each of the chain 1 space there's going to be 2 half double crochets, and that's the way you keep track. And you're just going to continue repeating all the way down. So continue with this sequence, and I will meet you at the end of the row. You can fasten off here if you want to. As you see, you can see that it's pretty curly, but we're going to do one more round. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a double crochet into the first stitch right here, and we're not going to complete that double crochet. We're going to switch colors. So I'm going to use my mustard color again, and then I'm going to cut this blue color. And you're going to chain 1 and turn, and that chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch. In the very first stitch you're going to make a slip stitch, and you're going to chain 1, and you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and that's going to be a repeat for row 4. So you're going to chain 1 and slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1 and slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, and repeat. Chain 1, slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1 and slip stitch into the next stitch, and that gives it a really nice edging. And you're just going to repeat this sequence all the way to the end of the row. And you're working with a lot more stitch than you originally started with, so just take your time. Continue with this sequence, and I will meet you at the end. At the end of the round, you're going to make a slip stitch into the last stitch, and you're going to chain 1 and you're going to fasten off. But before you fasten off, you want to make sure that you have enough of a tail end to make a hanging loop, and I usually do about like 8 inches or so. Doesn't have to be exact. And then I just cut it here and pull my yarn through, and then I make my hanging loop, and I just tie a knot. And then I'm gonna cut it here. You don't want to cut it too close because it would come through. So you just want to cut it like that, and there you have your hanging loop. So at the end here, I left the tail so I can show you how I sew in my ends. And with this pattern, you don't really need to do too much because it's just for hanging. You're not going to be like putting something like this in the wash. So I just go up. I go on the wrong side, so this will be the right side. the wrong side of the work, and I just weave in. And that's it. And then you will curl this into place. And then you can see how it's already curling and looks really pretty. So next up, we're going to make the tassel for the bottom of the wind spinner. To make the tassel, I use all 3 colors of the wind spinner, and I use this bookbinder, and this bookbinder measures about 7 inches. And I just went around this binder about 12 times. I have this piece of yarn that I pre-cut, and this measures about 20 inches, and we're just going to put it at the top here of the tassel. So we're going to go in, just grab all those loops. And you want to make sure that this is even. And I'm going to tie it. And I'm going to do another tie, so I'm going to tie it twice. And I'm just going to even these strands out a bit. I have another piece of yarn, and this one is about 12 inches. And I'm going to tie this one around the tassel. And you can decide how far up or far down you want it to be. So I'm just going to put mine right there. And I'm also going to tie this twice. And I'm just going to use my hook, and I'm going to pull this through so that it's not sticking up. And then now I'm going to cut the yarn and even things out. So we're going to find the center. And then you're just going to trim it off. Try to make it as even as possible, or to your liking, really. So there you have your tassel, and I have a few beads that I'm going to put at the top. The first 2 that I made, I didn't use the bead, but I'm going to add the bead here, like if there's something that you choose to do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on my needle. Just make it a lot easier. And I'm going to just thread the beads on one by one. And then I'm going to attach it to the end of the wind spinner. And I just attach it at the very end here. And then you can go ahead and sew it in, and I like to sew in one end at a time. This makes it a lot easier on my hands also. I just want to give that a tug to tighten it a bit. I just pick up a little bit of yarn and I'm going to just go back down just to secure it. I'm going to cut this. I think that's secure enough. And then you're going to sew in the next end the same way. And that is what it looks like. And that's it. It was that simple. And there you have your wind spinner. So thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Please like and subscribe for more video tutorials. Leave a comment, share it, and I will see you in the next video.